Hello, this is part 10 of our Learning Blender for Virtual Worlds course, and we're going to be looking at taking assets that are free, bringing them into virtual worlds, for example, VR worlds where they were low polygons, or in this case, Second Life. Before I continue, I want to say these are free assets. Please go and download them and edit them and make them into something beautiful that you need in your world. Do not upload them and try and sell them unless you're going to go through the hard painstakingness of scripting these items up and making them all work and making them beautiful and offering different textures and mapping and things like that to them. You're stealing somebody else's build and then selling it, which is basically fraud. So please, I don't condole anyone to go on this site and download something and you, upload it and then sell it. You can upload it for yourself, you can use it, and you can use it as part of something else. Like if you're building, say, a tank and you've got a soldier in the tank and you want to put a helmet on him, you can get a helmet from here and put it on him. As long as it's not silly and you're not using it just to make profit. So we come onto this site. This site is called free3d.com. Really easy to remember, free3d.com. And you're able to search stuff. You don't have to log in, you don't have to create an account, none of that. The file types we're going to be looking for, you can either do Blender models or we can do OBJs. We're going to do OBJs just because it's easier. And we're going to be able to see an array of stuff. You can choose different stuff from the top. You'll see we've got weapons, we've got animals, and all sorts of stuff. And we'll have a look at weapons. And we're looking for anyone that says free underneath. So you'll see this one says free, and this one says free, and this one says free. So we'll just scroll down a bit until we can find something. Okay, let's have a look at this katana. Okay, that's a blend file with sheath. Nice katana. We'll download that for free. Just click on download and then click here and it will take to that and it will automatically download the file for you. This is a pretty safe place, so you're going to be okay downloading your files. Just don't be too crazy. When you've done that, it'll go into your downloads folder and it's going to be zipped up. It's going to be zipped up in a zip file like this. So you will need something like WinZip or WinRAR to unzip these files. You right click on it and you go to extract all and then you press extract. That will extract the files that are in that folder, and you'll see there is a folder now here called blah 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 katana, which is here, and this is the file we're going to need. So we're going to need this blend file. So with this blend file and it not being a OBJ, if it was an object file and it wasn't a Blender file, you would go to Blender and you go to File and you go to Import. You would find OBJ, which is there where you font, and then you would find the file that you just uploaded, click on it and press Import, and that will import it to your world. But in this case it comes with a blend file, so we'll just double click on that blend file. Now for you, that probably didn't take very long, but for me, it took a while. You're going to see that it's got lots of different parts here. It's got loads of different bits, and it's very complicated. If you try and upload this to Second Life, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have a world of hurt, because there's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of lighting effects that are going on here, and there's a lot of different things that you just don't need. So let's have a look first. The first thing we don't need is going to be anything where it comes to these here. So these lightings, we can just delete them. They wouldn't come in anyway, but we're just going to get rid of them. The next thing we want to do is make it as easy as possible. So if we click the sheath, we can move the sheath out. So I'll press G for grab, and we're just going to move him, over there somewhere. Oop, I didn't want to move it that way. I wanted to move it that way. So I'm moving out of the way. Okay. So now we can have a look at the katana itself. Let's first select all of it using the boundary box. That's B for boundary box, and then I'm highlighting it all and letting go. At the moment it's got me in default here. It doesn't really matter what it would say. It would say you know, up here it'd be normal layout, so don't worry about the fact that it looks different. We need to join this all together because that's just too much junk. That's going to be a world of pain for us. So we're going to right click on the object and we're going to press join. Okay. I can't join it to the camera, so let me make sure that I've only got this clicked, and I'm going to press join. There you go. So all I did was select everything and then pressed join. Okay, you're going to see that some things have broken slightly. I can already see here why that's broken is because they've used a modifier and they haven't accepted the modifier. So if I select this piece here and go into the handguard, you'll see there's a modifier and they haven't pressed apply. So I might just have a quick look in here just to check that there isn't any other modifiers. There's one there and they haven't clicked apply. And the hilt, they haven't clicked apply on the modifier as well. And hilt 2, they haven't clicked modifier, and there's apply there. So that's now all linked together. So if I go blade, handguard, click everything, right click on it and press join, we get the sword as it is in its beauty, all selected together. Now let's have a look at the pixels related to this. So going into edit mode, I imagine we're going to have a very interesting look on this. Now in this case edit mode's down here because the person has saved the layout, so it's different. In your case it'll be up the top. So we press edit mode and we're greeted by a lot of verts. Can you see? There's so many verts on this, so many pixels. If you try and bring this into SL, it's gonna be bad. Okay, let's have a go. Let's try and bring this into SL. So we're gonna save it as it is. We're gonna save that modifier because we'll need to make sure that that modifier is saved, and we are going to just bring it in exactly as it is. So collider, save, katana 2, export as a collider, and then we're going to try and bring it in. So if we go to build, we go to upload, and we go to upload mesh, and we go to a desktop, and we find the katana 2, and we try and upload it. Okay, first thing you're going to notice is that it has uploaded the files. You can see them, which is great. But let's have a look how many prims this is. So we press calculate, and we'll see how much it comes back to. 516 prims and a cost of 99 Linden dollars. This is not going to work for us. This is too much, too expensive. The land cost is ridiculous. We can't work with that. So how do we fix it? Right, so first thing we want to do is go back into the sword, and we want to use a modifier called Decimate. So you go to add modifier, you go to generate, and you go to Decimate. Here it is. In Decimate and in object mode, you're able to lower the ratio, and it will lower the amount of verts that are on the object. But you can decide where you want to keep the detail. So as we lower this here, you're going to see the detail start to fall off our object. But we can get it quite low before we're going to see any massively visual changes on the sword. So I'm just lowering it, lowering it, lowering it. I'm keep lowering it. I'm going to see how far I can get it to go before we see something drastic. Okay, so now we're starting to see some changes about there. Okay, it's not massive amounts of changes, it's just a little bit less on here. but that's about it. So I'm going to save that. If I now go into edit mode, you'll notice that the polygon count's much lower. It's a lot cleaner. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to delete the scabbard, just because I don't think we need the sheath. So I'll delete sheath 1, make sure it's gone. Okay. We have a hilt and we have a plane here. I don't know what that plane is about, but I'm going to delete that as well. Probably needed it, but we got rid of it. So we should only have one file, which is this. Once I've done that decimate, I'm now going to have a look at doing limited dissolve. So I go to edit mode, I select everything with A, and then I want to go into mesh and clean up. Now remember, it's going to be at the top for you. It's going to be here. It's going to say mesh and clean up. So mesh, clean up, and I want to do limited dissolve. I'm going to click that. Now you might not have seen much happen. I think the end changed ever so slightly. It might have just twitched a little bit. I don't think it's that much of a difference. And then the very last thing I want to do is make sure that all the normals are on the outside. So what we do is we select everything and we do control, no, we do shift, I think it's shift N. Yeah, shift plus N, N for normals. And what that does is it recalculates all the normals to the outside. Now, I'm going to save this katana, export it as a collider, and I'm going to call it Katana 3. I'm going to jump back into SL, and we're going to look at uploading Katana 3. So we're going to find Katana 3 and we're going to upload it. Instantly you'll notice that it rezzed in there a lot faster than the other one. Now let's calculate the weight. 32. That's a lot less than 500. We can make it even lower. There's a couple of ways to do that. So let's look at them. The first one is in the screen. Make sure you've got your object selected and scale it down. So you want to scale it down as much as you can. Make it nice and small, about that big. That's going to help. So file, export, collider, Katana 4. So the first thing you're going to notice now when I bring it in, it's going to be less, but you also have to remember that it is smaller. So when you make it bigger, it will go back up into the in prims. Every time you make it larger, it will go back up in prims. But now it's only 5 prims. Let's make it lower, because we know that when we make it bigger, it's going to be more prims. Now in this case, I'd probably be wearing this item. If I'm wearing it, it counts as no prims anyway. So I could have brought it in at 500. It would have been silly, but I could have done that. The next thing you want to do is mess around with these values here. What you want to do is lower the lowest one, maybe 1. Just take it down just a bit. And then lower the next one, maybe 2. And then lower the next one, maybe 3. And then calculate the weights again. You're going to see now it's gone down to 3. If I take it down a little bit more, now it's gone down to 2. So the more you mess around with these values, it just means that if someone's using medium graphics or low graphics or lowest graphics, they're not going to see it as well. So it depends on how many people you want to see the item. If you want a lot of people to see it, you want it to be as low poly as you can before you start messing around with these. So we're going to make it at least that so that everyone can see this item. And that's 2 prims. See, 2.97. So it's 14 Linden dollars and it's 2.9 prims. Now when we started, this object was 535 prims and it cost 99 Linden dollars to bring it in. So now it's much more affordable. Let's bring that in and let's have a look at what we've got. It'll always be called whatever you name it. And you'll see that it's there. And the size is actually quite good. You know when we made it smaller in Blender, if you look in relevance to me, that samurai sword is probably still too big. So if I'd have brought it in originally, it would have been massive. Now, it's about the right size. And it's 3 prims. So now, we have a very detailed samurai sword that we've brought into World that looks pretty great, I've got to be honest with you, for free. And it's only 3 prims. Meaning that if I wanted to make it so I could throw it or something, it's not going to kill the world every time I res it out. And that's how you do it, guys. So, try and find something you like, and see if you can bring it into SL and it not cost a fortune. Best of luck.